Morning.
Good morning. How are you
Morning,
doing?
Rory.
Morning, Shelley. How are you this morning?
I'm good. The sun is out. I'm looking forward to being out there in about an hour's time.
About an hour's time. Yeah, absolutely. It's good
Because
to be.
then the clouds might appear and it might be raining by then.
Oh, I hope not.
No, I hope not. I hope not too. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, morning,
How
everyone.
are we? Got to look up there into the camera. We've had a few Wi-Fi challenges this morning, but hopefully we're there. I've been rearranging my lounge and plugging my Ethernet cable into my computer and telling my children to get off their phones, give me the Wi-Fi. So fingers crossed, praise to God that everything goes quite smoothly. So welcome everyone to the Refresh Church live Sunday live stream, whatever it is, here on YouTube. I'm Shelley, and this is my fabulous co-host, Rory. In fact, I look back where you are. My fabulous co-host, Rory. And you are in Surbiton. You're back in London now?
I'm back in Surbiton, but hopefully my lovely wife and lovely little boy, Mr. Abel, are watching from Cambridgeshire. I'm going to pick them up on Tuesday, so that'll be exciting. So hello, guys.
Yes, you've been separated for a bit of time, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been back here since last Sunday evening. So it's been a bit weird not being around them, but the positive thing.
Hi, Rory's family, Abel, Hannah, and Mum.
Hi, guys.
Nice to see you. Oh, that must be hard. Well, we're grateful you're here. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know, I've motivated myself to do something positive this week. So I'm a week into Couch to 5K.
Are you?
Yeah, I've done
respect.
runs, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Yes, that's not easy.
No, it was particularly not easy for me because I don't run at all. So
neither do I, really. Neither do I. I do a strong walk. Let's put it that way. A good strong walk, you know. Anyway, well, so we could talk for days. So if you're already part of our church family, hello. We really miss you. It's lovely to have you with us, even though I can't really see you, but lovely to have you with us. Whether you have a faith or not, or you're simply curious, you may have visited us in our home, the Refresh Centre, which is in Molesey, or watched our previous live broadcasts. You're very welcome, and we're so happy to have you with us again this morning. And a special hello to anyone who is overseas or not in England, let's say. Wales and Scotland, hello. Northern Ireland, hello. But you're very welcome, and it's really lovely to have you. We're a small evangelical church located on the Greater London Surrey borders, a mile down the road from Hampton Court Palace. If you'd like to know more about us, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, or you can visit our website. The details will be coming up soon. Or down in the comments, there are links direct to those sites. And there's other things we'd like you to do this morning. Comments. I was going to leave you to do.
Yeah, we've got live comments coming in already, which is great. So it's great to see that Mark Blythe is watching, and Cheryl and Fillmore, and of course Mark Gregory. But I know he's watching because I've already seen him this morning. So it's great to know that you guys are watching. And yeah, Mark, I don't know if I'm Bushy Park run, but we'll see. We'll work towards that.
Yes, that's a good strong. That's where I would do a good strong walk.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's probably some notices that we should give out this morning. So before last week, we had coffee after the live stream that people joined in on Zoom. We're not doing that this week. This week we got a prayer meeting in the evening instead, which was on Shelley's email. We're also going for a walk this afternoon, which is organised by Joe and Colin. So that's really exciting. I'm sure there's probably other notices. Shelley, can you think of any other notices?
I can't off the top of my head, because the one in my head was the dog walk, which is 2:30 at Paddock Gate. That's the only one I could remember. So is there anything? I don't think so.
I'm sure
I don't
someone
think so.
will later.
It will come to us and we might remember it at the end, or someone will send us a hasty message and go, don't forget this, and we can do it at the end.
Fortunately, we have the core team on today, so hopefully at least one of them might notice that we don't do that. So they will be able to help
They're
us.
Probably itching to tell us.
Yeah. So we've kind of, Shelley and I have been signed up for the forthcoming weeks. Certainly a couple more weeks to go. And so that's exciting. So I hope you can all put up with us for the next few weeks. We've got some exciting stuff in the pipeline. Some of you may already have been spoken to about it, but some of you might not have been. So I won't tell you who's coming and when, in case they're like, oh, I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Next week, we definitely have Judith speaking to us. And today we're going to hear and meet each of the members of the core team, which includes Judith. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. We've got some worship on the worship videos, which Shelley sent the link out for, or can be found on the refresh page. So please watch those if you haven't already. There's some great songs on there. I've enjoyed them already myself. Again, I feel very dedicated, but you know, I can't blow my own trumpet too much.
When Hannah and Abel get back, I don't think it's
go right out the window.
Out the window. It's not going to, but that's okay because you're on your own. You keep yourself occupied. And remember, as the thing says at the bottom, if you want to get get notifications of when we go live, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Details down below. So.
The other thing which we should probably say is that actually it's really, really good if guys have got questions, especially for the core team. We'll come together at the end. Martin's going to do some live worship for us this morning. There's Mark Gregory. I can see him standing in the doorway. So hopefully, if you guys have got any questions, burning questions you want to ask the core team, let's try not to put them under too much pressure. We're going to ask them some questions anyway. So if you have any questions, chuck them in the live comments, and Shelley and I will bring it back together at the end and see if we can answer some of the questions.
Just showing Tony's comment. Just morning, Tony. Put your glasses on.
Can't change.
Change her name. There we go. Morning, Tony. Right. So yes, as Rory said this morning, it's meet the core team. So we're going to bring them up one by one, and if you have any questions, as Rory said, please put them in the box. So our first guest this morning is Judith Kelly. Morning, Judith.
Morning, everybody. Great to be with you all this morning. Trying to get myself centered.
No, I know. Everything's twisted around the wrong way, isn't it? So how are you? Thank you so much for coming to do this morning. How are you this fine morning?
I'm good. I'm happy because the sun is shining and I'm going out for a walk later. So I'm very happy about that.
Bonus. So for those of you that don't know, Judith is the leader of our core team. And core team is our word for leadership team. And that's about right, isn't it, Judith? It's like the leadership team. So Judith is head honcho. She'll hate that. She hates that. She'll hate that. But unfortunately,
what that means basically.
Unfortunately, it means it's always done. It's not, democracy, but at the same time, it's a heavy burden as well. And there's lots of stuff that Judith has to sort of absorb and take on. So we want to honour her this morning and thank her because it's a heavy weight. Some weeks, and we love you. So I'm going to very politely remove Rory.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
That's okay, and I'll see you soon. So Jude, while I cough, as we're going to discover throughout the course of the morning when we talk to the others, you each bring individual gifts to the leadership team. What would you say is your I'm smiling as I say this because I kind of know the answer. What's your particular passion or gift?
Okay. To be honest, I really think that my main gift is to be a people person. I'm certainly not an extrovert, but I love people, and I love connecting with people, loving people, encouraging people, championing people. So anything that's centered around relationship and building relationship with others, that's really what makes me come alive. The relationships are the thing for me that give me the most joy in life. So yeah,
they certainly do. And you are quite an amazing hostess as well, may I say. So if I just met you, and I don't know, we didn't know each other. If I just met you, and I wanted to know more about Refresh as a church, or just as you know, anything. If I said, so what's Refresh like? What would you say? How would you explain Refresh?
Okay, so I'd probably explain Refresh as that we are really, it's not about a building. We're a group of people from all walks of life and diverse backgrounds. Some of us have experienced faith and religion in our backgrounds, others of us absolutely none whatsoever. But all of us have had a personal, life-changing encounter with Jesus, and it's that unites us as the people of Refresh. And so really, Jesus is at the center of everything that we are and everything that we do. And because Jesus has made it possible for us to become on intimate terms with God and experience his love being poured into our hearts every day, we are pretty passionate about wanting others to discover this love for themselves. And so I guess as we go about our ordinary day lives, in the workplace, out in the community, if we can somehow play our part in awakening people to the reality of the fact that God is for them and that he loves them passionately, then we love to do that, because we're so aware that as we've come all from our own backgrounds, that we were once in a place where we didn't believe that, we didn't know that experientially. So you know, whether it's sharing our story, whatever it is, if we can play our part in some kind of way to help people make that connection, then we're passionate about that. And I think, Shelley, one of the other distinctives of who we are as Refresh is that because God pours his spirit and his love into our hearts on a daily basis, in this ongoing life and adventure with Jesus, what we are being empowered to do by him is to learn to increasingly love others well. It's impossible to be connected to Jesus and for there not to be an outflow of love to others. The two things are inextricably linked. As we get connected to him, his love is poured into our hearts and we find an increasing love for others. And so much of what we do at Refresh is centered really around loving and serving others well. So whether that's just hosting opportunities for people to connect, to build friendship, to experience life-giving community through sport or social events, or whether it's running stuff like the Cap Money course that meets people at their practical point of need. That's the kind of stuff that we do at Refresh, and hopefully that gives a bit of a flavour of who we are, what we do, and why we do it.
Yes, we don't rest. We never sleep at Refresh. We are. Thank you, Jude. That's yes. Makes me feel exhausted thinking about. I don't know about you, but it's not like I haven't done anything, but the thought of going when we go back and suddenly getting all those things back up again, we've had so much rest. I think I'm now in a stupor. I can't do much in a day without feeling exhausted. But about midday, I was like, I'm not going to get back to a normal regime. But yes, we do. And I have to say that Judith is pretty much at the front of a lot of these things. You know, she's always there, always standing up and leading by example. And we love you, Judith. And thank you so much for giving us a bit of your heart. I'm going to bring Rory back in now. Hi, Rory.
I'm back. And I took the opportunity whilst I was away to put a message on the live chat on YouTube to see how it works. It's just come up. So I know how it works now. So I know roughly.
Here we go. I'm going to show you. Hang on, I'm going to show you. Woo! Yes, Jude. There we go. I know it's lots of bits and bobs that appear, and it's I want to type a message in, but I can't do all things at the same time. So I'm going to disappear now. And Jude, thank you so much, my darling, for joining us. Thank you very much. And next up, we have Mary, or maybe not Mary. I think Mary's having some connection issues. So who would you like to...
Susie. Let's have Susie.
Let's bring Susie. Susie.
And
Hi, Suze. Hello, Mrs. Miggins.
Hi, Susie. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm feeling like I'm slightly in the wrong place. There we go.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. And
you've got look at spooky. Look at us bookends either side of Rory. Hello. I'm going now. Bye-bye.
Well, Aiden's coming to say hello.
Hi, Aiden. Look at Aiden's hair, everyone. That's incredible.
It's behind the thing.
Ta-da! That's bedhead if I've ever seen it. Good stuff. When did you get up, Aiden?
You'll say?
Don't know.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, Susie, I've got a few questions for you.
Right.
At least one of them you are aware is coming your way, so that's good. Tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Susie?
Well, Susie, as you can see, is mom to Aiden, who's joined me today, and also mom to Merrin, who's around somewhere, and wife to David.
Merrin, I need you.
I think we may have some more chaos. And we have, for the last few months, been living the chaos of homeschooling life in amongst everything else that's been going on. I love Jesus, I love my garden, and I like chatting to my friends.
Excellent. Now, Susie, I've got a quick question for you. How have you felt God upon your life at this time? Obviously, you've been ill, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I got ill with what everybody thinks was COVID-19 at the start of April, which is really because they weren't doing testing at that point, and I was not quite unwell enough to go to the hospital, thank goodness. But following that kind of sort of 3 weeks of being quite intensely unwell, I've had a couple of sort of post-viral things going on, like pleurisy and quite a lot of fatigue, which pleurisy is more or less past now, but the fatigue's still there. So it's been a funny season for us to be quite sort of had to slow down even more than I was expecting to have to slow down with lockdown, just because I haven't been able to manage a lot physically.
Okay. How have you felt God on your life in that time as well?
Well, you know what? God is good. And I have had a real sense of God's faithfulness throughout this whole period, that his goodness and his glory and his beauty is way over and above, but it's underneath, it's beyond, it's all around my circumstance. And just that sense of, even though I've been in a place where it's been really uncertain, like the conversations I've had with doctors have been like, we don't really know, we've never seen this before, we're learning. That actually I can be fully satisfied and full of God's joy in that. And actually felt really safe. We all know the story that comes in Matthew 7 about building a life on a rock, having a firm foundation. And that bit in chapter 7, I think it's verse 24, 25, there's really clear the storms are going to come, but actually when we've built our life on a solid foundation, we don't need to be moved. And I can really honestly say, yes, I've had moments of thinking, this is odd, I can't catch my breath, but I've known throughout that God is with me and that he is the rock, the one I can rely on for today and for tomorrow.
Amazing. That's so good. So I kind of got a two-part question for you. Hopefully your business mind will tackle this quite well, taking a bit of a SWOT analysis approach to this question. So what have been the biggest challenges for you during lockdown, other than obviously being quite ill, and what are you going to take forward from here?
Right. I think some of the challenge of lockdown has been to get my head in a place to say, what if God's opportunity for me is actually today? how does God want to meet me today? Because my if you like, my capacity has felt like it's done this. Oh, you know, it's shrunk down. And but what if actually if I was as eager to meet Jesus today than as he is eager to meet me? And that's been really hard for me, because it's been like, oh, if only if I was a bit better, or if only I could go out, or if only this. But I think sort of that's been a wrestle to kind of sort of settle into, that I need to stop waiting for the right time and know that fullness can be now, in those circumstances. And a kind of sense of freedom's come with that. So I think that's started as a challenge. And then I think the opportunity, Mary and I went for a walk the other sort of early evening along the river at Walton, and we were talking about what is it that we've gained in lockdown, and what do we want to keep, because you know, we're talking about Mary being back at school and so on, and she said it's just like we haven't had to rush. And I think that's the opportunity, is how do I keep that sense of not rushing, that sense of freedom and endless possibility within the kind of the constraints of whatever life is at that moment. So that is an opportunity, but it's also a challenge. I think I've kind of given you both.
That's good. And I think that's a really good thing that we should be asking ourselves, definitely. You know, what are the positive things we can take out of this time into our life going forward? So, yeah, I think that's really helpful. Thank you, Susie. Have you got anything else that you really feel is on your heart that you want to share with people about what you do for Refresh, or kind of a little bit anything else about you before we kind of let you go about your day?
I'd like to say two things. If there's someone that's listening that's like, I have never known peace like that in the middle of the storm, then I want to say get in touch, because actually this is available for everyone. This is what Jesus is all about, and encounter with him is all about, because we'd love to tell you more about it.
Excellent.
And I think the second thing is, as many of you who know me well, I feel that God's given me a real compassion for those who are the least and the last and the lost in our communities. And I think Refresh has really got a role to play, because there's just been so much change for so many people. And some people will be feeling really like they're at the end of the queue for everything. And I've sort of done some stuff with CAP, and I'd love to look at how we take that in going forward. So if there's other people in Refresh that are feeling that too, then I'd love to connect with them and just to talk about how we can do that together.
Well done. Thank you, Susie. Thank you for being with us this morning. Great to hear from you, as always. Oh, Shelley's back. That's good. So awesome. Well done. Thank you, Susie. So that was Susie, member of the core team. Shelley, anything you want to say to Susie? Oh, no, you've booted her.
Don't say it like that. I thought you'd finished.
Pretty much.
I'm bringing her back to apologise. I did not boot you.
I didn't take it that way.
No. I mean, I work with Suze. She's sick of the sound of my voice. So we've done. Look, we've morphed into each other. I mean, that's how much we did. I'm going to say bye-bye again. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye, Suze.
Sorry.
That's
all right. No, I kind of did, yeah. That's kind of I'm in control. Ha ha ha. So, who would you like next, Rory?
Well,
who would you like? Mary. Mary is here. I'm worried in case we lose the signal. So, should I bring
Mary up? Yeah, why not?
Bring Mary in.
Oh, fingers crossed. Are you there, Mary?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Mary? It's like the Eurovision Song Contest, wasn't it?
Short.
Bonjour, bonjour, Paris.
Hopefully, Mary.
Can we have your points, please? Right, so I'm going to take my moment. Oh.
Hello, Mary.
Can you speak?
I am. Can you?
Yes, we can hear you. Amazing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, we can.
Wow.
Can we have your points? Can we have your points from Luxembourg, wherever we are? No, don't make a joke.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
I'm here.
Can you hear us?
I am speaking. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
No. Count
hearing
to
you
4.
very well, great. But I am here.
Amazing.
I'm going to go and leave and see if me going makes any difference.
Okay. Mary.
Yeah,
Are
and
you
you
there?
guys
Excellent.
very well.
Okay, I'm gonna try and ask you a question if I could, Mary. Are you able to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at church?
I'm here.
Hopefully, maybe. Did you hear what I said?
Okay.
Oh,
All right. So a little about myself. I'm retired. I retired. Yeah, I worked. I worked all my life. I retired about 5 years ago. I about 17 years ago, I came to faith. I found Refresh Church and came to faith. Since then, I've been part of Refresh, and for the last 2 years or so, I've been part of the core leadership team as well, supporting Judith and the others in leading Refresh Church.
excellent. And you'll be pleased to know, Mary, we can hear you perfectly now. So that's great. My second question for you, Mary, is how have you felt God moving in your life at this time over lockdown?
Wow, that's a big question. I think one of the things I think that God has been saying to me is just get used to different. And there's been a great TV program, or it's on YouTube actually, a TV program about the disciples, Jesus and his disciples. And one of the lines is "get used to different," and that's really challenged me. And I just feel God is saying to me that, you know, as this time has happened, a lot of things have been different. We haven't been able to do things in the same way, and that, you know, I get very set in my ways, and I like to do things a certain way. And you know what? I think he's challenging me to just do things differently, to lay down certain things, to perhaps look in new directions for what you know, what might be next, and to perhaps think about spending my time a little bit differently as well, so that I'm not perhaps so tied to my computer and getting things done perfectly, but perhaps getting more out there and connecting more with people, and just really doing things differently. So that's where I've been challenged.
Amazing.
And I, like a lot of other women, I've been totally challenged in the last 6 weeks with bad hair days. That's that's a real problem.
Not just women.
I've been a hairdresser.
Good stuff. So actually, one of the things you said then really linked to the question that you sent us in advance that you had a real heart to talk about, which was how you are really passionate about helping others explore faith, especially in a non-religious way. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and what that means for you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you think about it, Rory, Christianity or any faith for that matter is not really a subject that we talk about with our friends or when we socialize with work colleagues, because we're usually too concerned about offending people or upsetting people with our views. And so we don't really often have a chance to just talk about this real big question in life. And what that means is that sometimes we dismiss it without really knowing anything about it. And so we make a decision based out of ignorance, really, rather than from a position of knowledge. So, well, my own story is that I was brought up in a family that went to church. I went to church, but I have to say that church and God didn't really mean anything to me. I didn't think it was relevant in my life. And in fact, to be very fair, my life was going along pretty well without it all. And then about 17 years ago, I hit a bit of a down spot, as we do sometimes. I found myself wondering about God, and through a series of coincidences, although I think now probably I would say they weren't coincidences at all, because I think maybe somebody up there was looking at me, I found Refresh Church, and they invited me to do an Alpha course, which I did. And I have to say, I don't know if you've done an Alpha course, Rory. I have to say it was really, it was a course unlike any course I'd ever done in my professional life, and it really had an impact on me. You know, we were a group of people from all different walks of life, from all different faith or no faith backgrounds, and we met once a week for a few weeks and just looked at various we heard a talk on different aspects of the Christian faith, and you know, talks ranging from who is Jesus, and why did he die, and what's this Holy Spirit thing all about, and prayer, does God really answer prayer? Do prayers really work? And what about healing? Is it true that God can heal today? And so we actually discussed all of these things. But the great thing was, it was an environment where we could share what we really, really felt. We didn't have to worry, because we weren't going to offend anyone, we weren't going to upset anyone, and more importantly, we ourselves weren't being judged. We weren't being told, no, you're not, that's wrong, what you're believing is wrong. Not at all. We're encouraged to say exactly what we felt, forthrightly, and not holding back, and that was really, really valuable, and I really welcomed that. So it was a great experience for me, and in fact, for me, at the end of the course, I did decide that actually there is something in this God thing, that there is a relevance. It is relevant. He is relevant to my life, and I do want to continue learning and exploring and keep going to church. So I did, and so the next thing for me was, well, as I started connecting more with church and with other Christians, I realized that actually God is not somebody up there, just looking down on us like ants, one ant sort of scurrying amongst 30 billion trying to do life. But he really knows me. He knows my name. He knows my heart. He knows all the bad stuff and the awful stuff I've done in my past, and yet he still loves me. But more importantly, his biggest desire is that I come to know him and love him too. So it's kind of like having a relationship. And I never knew that before. And as soon as I started to grasp that, the whole thing changed. And I understood, actually, I do understand now what this faith thing is about. So, that's my story. And from that moment, I have to say, I got a bit hooked on leading Alpha courses for Refresh. And I've led 19 of them now. And I have to say, that I've just been so blown away and privileged by seeing countless lives changed through doing the course, and not only because people perhaps came to the same decision as me, thinking, well, yeah, there is something in this, because it's, from my perspective, that's wonderful, but Rory, I would say that for all those people who didn't come to that conclusion and felt, no, this is not for me, this isn't my bag, this isn't where I'm going, I would say, I could guarantee that probably the vast majority would say that doing the Alpha course had changed their life anyway. It might have helped them with their relationship, it might have helped them with tackling difficult situations that they've been facing in their lives. So it's had an impact for everybody. So I would encourage anyone, if there's anybody out there right now who's thinking, is this God thing real? What's it all about? I would say, don't delay, sign up, do an Alpha course. You've got absolutely nothing to lose by it. You've got everything to gain. It doesn't cost you a penny. It's totally free. And who knows, it could even change your life. So
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And,
thank you.
Yeah.
So
and actually, so I just would add to that, just if anybody is listening, if they email, if they're interested, because hopefully COVID-19 permitting, we'll be running another Alpha course in Refresh in the autumn. But you know what, if people are really keen and they don't want to wait that long, the great thing is that you can now do Alpha online. And you simply go to the website of a church called Holy Trinity Brompton. They're the people who developed the Alpha course in the first place. So you go to htb.org/alpha, and you can sign up and do an online course. And there are thousands of people doing it. And there's one starting this Wednesday. So as early as this Wednesday, you could be doing one.
That's great. You actually answered part of my next question there, Mary, because I was going to ask you whether you had any in the pipeline or any planned for when we can finally get back into church. So thank you for that. The other thing I was just going to ask you about Alpha, because, it's such a great course, but my favorite thing about Alpha, which I sure won't surprise many people who know me, is that you get to share a meal together whilst you do it. And And I just think that is such a great way to have community, a great way to be together. I was wondering, what's your favorite thing about Alpha? What's the thing that you always kind of go, yes, that's the best bit of the whole thing?
Well, I have to confess, the meal as well. That's good. We've got great cooks in the church, and yeah, we have the most amazing meals. But for me as well, I think the great thing is that as people come for that very first time, and you have this group of people, I say, from all different backgrounds, all walks of life, people who've never met each other before usually, and we're talking, and you look around the table and you think, gosh, how is this going to work? How are all these people going to get on? And what happens? And I have to tell you, Rory, that without exception, by about week 2 or 3, the group is so bonded, and people are just so waiting to come back for another week to see everyone and to chat. And the chat around the table is as important as the chat after the talk. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I love that. I just love seeing people connecting and getting along with people that they wouldn't necessarily choose to spend time with, if they were left to their own devices.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you for persevering with the technology this morning, because I know you've had a bit of a hard time, and really bless you, because what you've shared has been brilliant. So thank you for that. Shelley, anything?
Thank you,
Rory.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. In fact, the beauty of it is as you started talking, it all came together.
Better and better.
So your message, which was the most important, was looked after and protected. Right, and you came through that. So I'm really pleased. I was just smiling, thinking, and as she speaks, boom, and I was like, thank you. Little prayer went up there. Thank you so much, Mary. Yeah, and what I will do is try and add the link to that online Alpha course in the comments below when we finish this live broadcast. So if you are interested, you can click on the link, and I'll list it below. Okay. Thank you so much, Mary.
Great. So, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Have a lovely day.
Great day. Bye.
Bye.
So we are down to our final member of the core team, Mr. Mark. Oh, okay.
I'd just like to address my wife, if I may.
I did see a few comments. Shall I bring them up? Bring them up? Yeah. I didn't want to do it when Mary was talking, so I thought, no, hang on.
Now, I think this is probably based on Aidan's hair. I tried quite hard with my hair and beard this morning. Admittedly, Hannah is the person who shaves my beard for me because I'm not capable of doing it. So the fact I've been on my own for like 10 days without her here, because apparently I do drastic things if I do it on my own. So my dear wife, thank you for watching. But if you could reserve such comments.
Refrain.
And when you come back and I see you again, I'll let you sort out my beard for me. So hopefully I'll be better kept by next week, just to help everyone else be happy, and that would be good. So thank you.
I just say, I'm loving the sort of wild man of the woods look that men have been rocking. I have. I genuinely have. It's like the coiffed, and I don't know, fair play. As women too, we look a bit like, wild women of the woods too, and things have gone, overgrown in places. But fair play. We've had to sort of kind of look at ourselves and embrace what grows out of us naturally, exactly. And what we can trim and what is within our capabilities, or shave. If that's the other option, isn't it? Just go woof it off. So no, I think you look lovely, and I wish I could give you a squidge right now.
Thanks.
Shall I bring on our final guest?
Martin, let's have Martin.
In his studio, looking very professional, may I say. There he is.
Hey.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Morning,
good to see you. You're doing a great job this morning.
Thank you for waiting in your studio.
Well, it's a very pulled together, very hurriedly studio. So if it all goes wrong, just boot me off. But it's great to be with you.
I have the power.
Yeah,
I won't do that. Yeah. I won't do that to you.
Cool. So Martin, I've got a couple of questions for you before we go into you sharing your gift with us. But firstly, Martin, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you do. That would be great.
Yeah, I'm Martin. I live in Molesey, married to Anna. We've got 3 boys. They were aged between 12 and 17, so we're living the drama years. It's been full on in our house during lockdown. It's a bit like a 20-hour cafe, really. We're running here, just handing out rounds of food and trying to get them to do their study and their work. And then when I'm not locked down, I spend my time doing a bit of teaching in secondary schools. Obviously, I haven't been doing that part recently, but also I'm a worship leader at Refresh and part of the team with the other brilliant guys who've been talking this morning.
Excellent. So Martin, what brought you to want to be in church leadership, and what made you want to be on the core team here at Refresh?
Oh wow, there's a question.
I think.
Yeah, well, I think for me, worship and just getting to know God through worshiping through His presence has been an important part of my journey. The whole thing about leading, I started pretty much as soon as I became a Christian, got to know Jesus when I was 16 years old, and almost immediately we were running like Christian groups in school and then in college. And I just got involved with that really from the off. A few years later, I did a course called DNA, which is fantastic, just giving a year of your time to God, to work in church and get to know yourself better, get to know your gifting and how to, just share the love of God with people. So all of that in my background, I guess, has led me when I landed in Molesey just to get involved with the church here. Particularly with the young people, opening up Refresh, our cafe and our centre, and then here I am now, however many years later, a lot of years later, and just enjoy just being able to encourage people to know God for themselves.
Amazing. Thank you, Martin. Hard question, well answered. So obviously you've made it quite clear that your passion is around sung worship and music in general. What would you say you've missed most about not being able to do it over this time?
Oh, it's been really, really hard. This whole thing of not being able to be together, not being able to sing. A normal Sunday for us, we get together in Refresh. Worship, singing together is important, and it's because we're a community. We like to be together. We like to lift our voices as one to God, and that whole part of our life together has just been missing. Although it's not totally missing. Each week we're doing stuff online. There's worship to listen to, and I just want to encourage people today just to step into that moment of worship. Listen to those songs. Obviously you can worship anytime you want, but the good news is that all around the community, in our homes, that God's name is being praised and lifted up, and though we can't be that one voice together, we can still do it. And I guess it's a bit like, it's frustrating. I don't know if you've been watching any of the games, Rory, but there's like this eeriness around the ground, and I suppose church has been a bit like that. The goes on with the people, the match is happening, it's being played out, but there's just the buzz, the atmosphere is just not there of everything that stands. So it's been a bit weird. I did get the boys did me a nice thing for Father's Day, nice little gift, and sent my my picture on a placard to be there at the ground of the team I support. I'm not sure it's making much difference, but it's like we're there in spirit, but we can't be there cheering on in person.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. And Martin, like you've spoken a lot. We spoke briefly before, and you sent us a question that you wanted to sort of ask. You wanted us to ask you, and the thing that you really were pushing into on that was about what you feel is released in people when they sing worship, and what exactly do you mean by that? What do you think that is the real power and gift that comes from sung worship?
I think firstly, when we sing to God, we're saying thank you. We're saying thank you for His love. Thank you for all that Jesus has given us, and we're able to do that together. But God's so generous, God's so great that as we do that, we experience His love. We experience the presence of the Holy Spirit in our meetings, and that just leads us into being able to. I believe we can hear from God, and so often at Refresh, that's part and parcel of what we do. But if people sense God wants to encourage people and express His love in different ways, that might be through a word, through reading a Bible passage, through a song, through a dance. God's creativity is there, and also that we can come together and support each other in prayer, so that in the presence of worshiping God, we know that His the touch of His love in our lives. So that might be through healing, or through just needing His refreshing in our hearts.
Brilliant. Amazing. Thank you, Martin. And I believe you're now going to bless us with some worship. Is that right?
Well, look, I'm going to give it a go, because we have been trying to get working on the sound here yesterday, and so again, if this all sounds awful, Rory, just pull the plug. I don't want to give people a headache this morning, but
we won't do that.
Well, Rory, Shelley, you can pull the plug if you need to, but I'll just do a couple of songs that, if that's all right, that we know well at Refresh, and again, just encourage you, all around the town, all over the community, all across the world, if you're watching, we just lift up the name of God together. So this song's called Praises to Your Name. I sing praises to your name, praises to your name, the name that's so much higher than all names. All honor to your name, all honor to your name, the name that's so much greater than all names. Be lifted up, be lifted higher, be lifted up, be lifted high. All honor to your name, all honor to your name, the name that's so much greater than all names. Be lifted up, be lifted higher, be lifted up, be lifted high. Jesus, be lifted up, be lifted higher, be lifted up, be lifted high. Your name is life, your name is hope inside, hope inside. Your name is love, a love that always finds me, always finds. Be lifted up, be lifted higher, be lifted up, be lifted high. We lift you up, we lift you up, we lift you higher, we lift you up, we lift you high. Yeah, we just thank you this morning, Jesus. you were lifted high. You died on the cross to give us life. You rose from the grave that we may know you in our hearts. And draw me to your holy place, closer than before, closer than before. Where I can feel your arms embrace, closer than before, closer than before. Always I long to be here with you. Always my soul reaches out to you. Such love, such passion, such relentless grace. Who can compare to you? So here I stand, the past is gone, and all I want is you. All I want is you. I'm coming back where I belong, and all I want is you. All I want is you. Always I long to be here with you. Always my soul reaches out to you. Such love, such passion, such relentless grace. Who can compare? Who can compare? Who can compare to you? Yeah, Jesus, we thank you for your spirit. We thank you for your love. Let us pray now, wherever we are, we just be able to hold out our hands and receive a touch of your spirit today. Just come into our hearts, refresh us with your love. We may find new life in you today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well done, Martin. That was awesome. Thank you so much. You know, great to have it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What an incredible gift to be able to bring us live as well. You know, I know you do it live every week at church, but the internet is a somewhat different thing.
Live from my own office.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Martin. Thank you.
Brilliant. Pleasure.
Yeah, you just pulled up Sheila's comment there, Shelley, just saying what a great core team, complementary giftings. Absolutely. What an incredible team you guys are. And thank you for taking some time to share with us this morning. So yeah, I think, Shelley, that's it. That's the core team done. Have we got anything else?
That's the core team done. I mean, the thing is, unless anyone has any questions that they would like to ask, because they're all still here waiting and very happy to answer any questions. If anyone has any questions they'd like to ask the team. If not, we will bid them a loving farewell. They can go and have that cup of tea now, because they've all been patiently waiting. No, I don't see any comments, anything popping up now. So
there are a couple of comments that are worth just drawing and pointing on, though, I've noticed.
I have. I'm going to just put this one up.
Yeah, Anna Stringer. Well done, guys. You rock. That's true.
We do indeed. Do you mean Mark's?
Mark Blythes, yes. Let's have Mark Blythes up. So the Refresh Golf Open has been rearranged to Saturday, the 8th of August, 12 noon at Hersham Golf Club, I presume. All welcome. Any ability, please contact Mark Blythe. So if you don't know him directly and want to join, then please message us on one of the links that we've shown or the links in the messages, and we can put you in touch with Mark, and it would be great to see a few people there to play some golf. The other one, which is probably worth pulling up, is the one right above that, Shelley, which is Judith, aka Tony Kelly. So great from Mary. And he loves the fact that everyone, and he means everyone, is welcome to join. He's talking about Alpha. Alpha is open to absolutely everyone. So, you know, if you do think that what you've heard this morning has motivated you to either want to go on an Alpha course, or if you have been on an Alpha course before and want to serve on an Alpha course, then please do get in touch with us, and especially Mary, who will happily rip your arm off for either opportunity. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me, I think, this morning.
That's pretty much it from you. I think I'm just going to finish off our live stream this morning with a few words, but other than that, thank you so much, Rory, and see you next week.
See you next week.
See you next week, darling. Okay, hang on, I'm trying to do, I've lost my cursor. Bye-bye, darling, bye-bye. So just to finish off our live stream this morning, one of the things we're still being asked to do, apart from stay safe or stay alert, is be patient or wait. A trip to the shops is no longer a quick in and out or a nip to the shops. We have to wait to be let in. We have to be patient as things are sanitized or disinfected. We have to wait at a safe distance from each other. And in my world of theatre and performance and dance, we're still waiting. We're still waiting to come out of lockdown. We're waiting to find out if and when we can go back to doing what we love, make a living. And there's many people involved in that. It's been hard. And in terms of the future, it's a little scary. In fact, it's very scary. Psalm 37:7 says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. But we don't like to wait. We weave through traffic looking for a faster lane. We drum our fingers on the worktop waiting for the microwave to heat up our coffee. We don't like to wait for anything, including God. Over and over in scripture, when it speaks about relationship with God, the word wait keeps showing up. And here's what we fail to understand. While we're waiting, God is working. In John 5:17, Jesus said, my Father is always at his work. The sign on God's waiting room reads, be still, know that I am God. You can be still because he is active. You can rest because he is busy. To wait, biblically speaking, is not to assume the worst or worry or fret or make demands or take control. Waiting's not inactivity. Waiting is sustained effort to stay focused on God through prayer and faith. God is the great physician. You are in his waiting room. He knows what ails you better than you do. And he has a prescription to fix it. So trust him and wait. So I'd like to finish today. Thank you all for joining us. And I'd like to just give us all a quick prayer. Father, forgive us for our impatience. Help us to overcome our fears and worries at this time by remembering your promises. Help us to be still and know that you are God. That while we are waiting, you are working. You go before us. You clear the path for us and you give us hope. You do all this simply because you love us and want us to trust in you and rest in you. In Jesus' mighty name, we thank you. Amen. So thank you, guys. Lovely to have you with us. Take care. God bless and have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.